Well, Tony asked me to do this video, so shout out Tony. Do a video about protection wings, the numbers, VPs. VP stands for vulnerable prisoner. VPU, vulnerable prisoner unit. Don't really say units like in England though. There is wings. VP wing, vulnerable prisoner wing. I've heard it. Other prisoners say very in a use derogatory terms against it. You know, nonce wing, bacon wing, Fraggle Rock. They used to call it in Aylesbury. Not very nice terms if you're on it. Might hurt your feelings if you're on it. You don't just get put on it either, by the way. It's not like, say, I should clear up and say straight away that not everybody on it is in for a sexual offence. Not everyone on the numbers is in for a sexual offence. People go on the numbers for all sorts of stuff. For informing, for being informers, for if you're in prison and you've got in debt and you can't pay, go on the numbers. It's an easy way out. Spice, the formerly known as legal high, bath salts, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, has changed prison. There's so many people that were all right. You see them on the numbers and ruins people. I'm not judging anyone. I'm really not. I was terrible on Spice, man. Never went on the numbers. Come close. Sat in myself. Contemplated it. Like till I decided that the best way to get out of the situation I was in was I've done a whole video about it, being in scrubs. I crashed through the library and loads of things got pushed over and disturbed in the library. Like during movements, you go to the library during movements, give your name, say I want to book an appointment. I went in there and loads of things got pushed about and all sorts. Yeah, you go and watch the video about it. Yeah. Listen, I've said it. You know, if you're in prison, if you got to have a fight, you got to have a fight. But I won't fighting all those people for me Cody either, who'd already pulled a fast one and run off the wing. Fast one, scammed. He basically robbed someone and run off the wing without telling me. I weren't fighting his beef, mate. No way, not in scrubs, man. After some of the shit I'd seen in there anyway. But we're getting off the point. I sat in myself when I was thinking I was gonna get, you know, I was in scrubs, man, and I was on the high security unit as well. I was sitting there, I was contemplating myself, thinking, well, you can't go on the numbers. You can't go on the numbers. You've got to give names in for that. You can't do it. Oh, ain't there someone I don't like? I'll just give his name in. You know what I mean? If you think crazy shit, didn't do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that close to doing it. Yeah, man. And it's horrible. Did you know what? It was a horrible situation to be in. It was a horrible, like, I was like feeling on my own. I was feeling like, mate, I'm gonna get all sorts of nastiness, and I ain't even done nothing. You know what I mean? Me Cody had actually like a complete wrong and done one off the wing. You know, and yeah, I was like sitting in myself, stressing, felt alone and felt isolated. All the bad things. Don't want sympathy. I'm in jail. I deserve no sympathy. But mate, The moral of that one is there's always a way out of it. No matter how bad you think something is in your head, there's always a way out of it. It's never as bad in your head. The reality is never as bad. It's always worse in your head. I've said this a million times. It's always worse in your head. And you sit there and you panic. And I could have panicked. So I'm going, oh, I can't the numbers. You know, wouldn't have had to go. wouldn't have had to smash the library and go to the block, get punished, and gone through all over Christmas and all that to avoid a serious. Let's put it this way: if I was a boat, I would have sunk. Yeah, we got right off the point there, haven't we? But if people are considering going on the numbers, listen, if you've got to do what you've got to do, but things is never as bad as what they seem. Things always pan out. I've done a story before about getting in debt in Pentonville with his geezer. Counting day was coming and I was sitting there thinking, right, well, what am I going to do? I've not got this geezer's money. I've been late week after week after week, nothing week after week after week, and he's been fair. And he don't have to be fair, and all of a sudden a visit popped up out of nowhere, literally a couple of days before. You know, I had to rush it through, go into the office, beg to get the visit down there and then. Oh, come on, God, please. There's once, you know, you have to talk, you know, bug the granny out of the screws for half hour, I'll get the visit, lovely. I get to pay him, get something on top as well, lovely. You know what I mean? Different day, different circumstances, different person, numbers. Your reputation ruined forever as well. Because jail's such a closed environment, people talk, and it's the same people, so no matter where you go, it's the same people that go, oh yeah, he was on the numbers in so and so. 2 years down the line, used another whole nother sentence, all the same faces, oh yeah, he was on the numbers back in 2019. That's how it works. That's just how it works in jail. But like I said, I'm making no judgments here. People have done it. I'll give you a. I worked on the. I've said before many times. I worked on the induction wing in Chelmsford. I was an insider. Basically, I dealt with all the inductions. Yeah, you have to go through an induction process for the first week. I'd be there, sitting there, teaching you all the do's and don'ts for the first week. Really, I'd be like, what you got? What you coming with, mate? But there was, back in these times, it was F-wing, right? So you had F-wing in Chelmsford. 2 spurs on 1 wing. Yeah, 2 spurs on 1 wing. 1 spur, both spurs, I should say, had the 1s and the 2s, so ground floor and the floor above it, yeah, both spurs. On one of the spurs, just the 2s, or like the top landing, was all the people that was on the numbers, yeah? So you had 2 different spurs. The top spur on one of the spurs was all the people on the numbers, and then in the centre you had the servery, and both spurs got fed on that 1 servery. So whoever was serving on the servery served both spurs, and you served the people on the numbers. I eventually was working on the servery at one point. You had to serve everybody. You had to serve everybody. It was the way it was, yeah. They did get looked after so much more better. I've given an example before of every Sunday you used to get fruit, yeah, on a Sunday, on like, so you get like bananas on a Sunday, yeah, and it was a roast dinner. Before anybody starts going, what Sunday roast dinner? It was a roast dinner in name only, yeah. You got gravy with it, right? And before you start, everything in jail is boiled, yeah. So I don't know how you get a roast dinner. It's a boiled dinner, alright. And the people on the server, you always used to, whatever extra you take. That's why you work on the server. You're not working on the server because you feel sorry and you want to feed everyone and be late to bang up and have late dinner yourself. You want to have the extra food at the end, don't you? Have your little perks of being out late and getting to do your thing and getting a shower late and all that. So we'd always try and scam a few extra bananas, you know what I mean? And it was different Spurs got so it wasn't always the same Spur that got fed last. They like sort of rotate it, yeah. But whoever got fed last, they were gonna get the last of the last were gonna get like no bananas, yeah. It is what it is. You know, if I wasn't working on the servery and I got let out last, I'd lose out on the banana, right? Scrooge didn't care. It is what it is. But the day that it come that the people on the numbers were going to lose their bananas, and there was about 12 of them didn't get it. One of them complained, and they always complain. That's the thing, yeah, with the people on the numbers. And don't forget, they're not all in for naughty crimes. We all know what I'm talking about. Yes, people are there that are in debt, that are this, but they're all. This coming from this come out of the words of an officer's mouth to me one day, a screw's mouth. They're brown noses, yeah. Because where else are they going to go after that? If they mess about on the numbers, well, there is no other place. There is the normal wing for a minute, and they don't want to go on the normal wing. So they're at Screw's words, they're brown noses, right? So a couple of the boys actually went and complained to the officers, to the Screws, about the missing bananas. Yeah, just G'd us off, just grassed us right up, right? Bananas. And the Screw, listen, for one, if it was like other normal, the other Spur, there might have been a few people like whinging as going back to their cell, but they would not have gone to the SO's office and kicked up right there. You know what I mean? Trying to get people like chucked off the servery, you know what I mean? The Screw come over the counter of the servery, sat on it, twisted over, done a twist. He didn't James Bond roll or anything like that. But he put his little tushy on the counter, twisted over, put his little legs down, searched everywhere, found the bananas to make sure the boys on the numbers got them. But fair and square, it was their bananas and all that. But he went above and beyond. And he said flat out straight afterwards. Everyone was like, "What? This happens week in, week out, and you do this now?" Like, and he said that Screws don't want that on their record of having a person on the numbers having a misplaced banana. Basically, what he was saying was that the Screw doesn't want to be the one that was in charge when someone on the numbers has something go wrong to them. Yeah, because it's ultra bad. So they get extra protection, and I don't just mean the standard extra protection. I mean they get moved. They go on movements at different times. So if you're on the numbers and you got to go for wherever you got to go in the afternoon. You got to go work or something. You're not going to go on free flow or movements, whatever they call it. It's called different things in different jails. Free flow movements. So like 1:45, you get your cell unlocked and you'll go to work or whatever. They get let out at a different time because they have to be kept separate from other people for their own safety. If they go to court days, so like there'll be like a big holding cell with like 150 geezers in it. You'll be sitting there all cramped up like sardines. In Pentonville, it'd just be like single holding cells with them like staring in and you staring at them. And they'd be in one cell, kept away. Visits were the same. You'd all be all the people that wasn't on the numbers would be in one holding cell, and there'd be a separate holding cell with the people that were for the people that was on the numbers. And then they get brought out separately, like, and then I suppose doing it that way, because you're all in the holding cell getting brought out one at a time anyway for your visit. You don't know from what holding cell they're getting brought out of. So I suppose they do it like that. So you're on the visit, you don't know who's on the numbers but you do anyway. You do. People know because you know what wing people are on. You just know what wing people are on if you've been there for a little while. They're always the most well behaved. Always the most well behaved. Like, oh, let me move that. For the reason I said, they don't want to get kicked off the wing. Where else are they going to go? The normal wing, and they don't want that because they're on the numbers for protection. Like I said, you don't just get put on the numbers. You know, if you come to prison and you're in a big case that's in the newspaper, that's a naughty case. You know the ones I'm talking about. If you're in for one of them, they don't just go, okay, you're on the numbers. Or I'll use a different example. If you get debted up on the wing, if you say, okay, you get involved with spice, taking spice, and it quickly gets out of hand with spice, and then you're not thinking about the consequences. You're just thinking about getting in the cell and having a zoot. And before you know it, you got 300, 400, 500 quid debt that you're never going to pay. You can't just go to the school and go, right, I've got a debt, I'm off. I want to go on the numbers. They go, right, who you got beef with? Just give us names, give us this, give us that. And yeah, you have to give information to get moved off the wing. So I was going to say technically you'd be an informer, but there's no technical about it. If you're giving information, that's what you are. That's what else? What else? A lot of famous faces go on the numbers, go on protection. Sort of self-explanatory in it. Don't want to be around the common folk. I suppose they don't want to get extorted, and they're not really. Famous faces was even in jail when I was there. That was on the numbers. George Michael was in Pentonville when I was there. Sure of it, and either Amy Winehouse's fella or Jay Goody's fella, one of the two. Stockton didn't even have a separate place for the numbers when I was there. Not on the wing I was on, anyways. I think it was No, it wasn't J wing. It was the drug-free wing back in 2006. Whatever the wing, drug-free wing. I only went on it because you had a key to your cell door. And when I say key, it's not like you could go up to your cell from the outside and open it. Well, you could, but you basically had like a lock on the inside. It was like a knob sort of thing, and yeah, you had much. It was a bit more. It felt a bit more freedom, and but a lot of people went on the numbers and stuff. And at the time, this was before Spice, yeah. Stockton, I'd never seen so many people go on the numbers as in Stockton ever. Yeah. After when Spice come in, doesn't matter what jail you're in, people go on the numbers left, right, and centre. But at the time, Stockton was unreal for the people that went on, but they didn't have a separate place. So what happened was, you just they keep you behind your door, and they put a big padlock on your door. I suppose so no screw accidentally just come to your door and carried on at lunchtime, just unlocked it and just carried on going. You know what I mean? So it'd be a big old padlock on your door, and you open the flat. They just be there. They just have to suffer whatever was coming to them, like through the flap at the door. Like, oi, what are you doing in there? What can you say? There's a big old padlock on your door. I don't know. I woke up. There's a padlock on my door. Yeah, man, that must have been the longest. Because back in them times, it was a 2 hour evening social. Yeah, so you get let out about 6 to 8, I think it was. And yeah, they'd open up the exercise door at the same time, so you had social and you could go out and exercise, come in. You didn't want to be outside for 2 hours in the freezing cold, so you come and you dip in and out. You know what I mean? And that must have been the longest 2 hours. If you was on the ones outside the pool table or something, and everyone's going to your door every 2 seconds. Oi, oi. Um, yeah, I never understood. Didn't have a separate wing for the people that went on the numbers. They just left them and put a big old padlock on their door, like never coming out again. What else is about the numbers? The numbers. Chelmsford. When Spice come in, when Spice come in, when I was working on the induction wing, so like I was seeing it. Like I said, one of the Spurs had the twos landing. Just that twos landing was the people on the numbers. Uh, and then Spice, and it was easy to stay on that wing. You could just refuse to leave that wing, and the screws wouldn't make you leave. Yeah, they put you on basic for a bit, like take your TV for a week, and give it back to you, and then put you in cell with someone else that was on basic, and then just stick it out, and eventually you if you wanted to be on the wing bad enough, you stay on there. Uh, I was on there, like I said, I was on the induction. I was on. I was inside. I was working with the induction people. I was on the servery there as well. Um, I was high risk anyway, so I wasn't allowed a cellmate, and there was all single cells on the twos, on the twos landings on both spurs, single cells. Then you went down to the ones, to the double cells, and then they moved you onto whatever wing. That's how it was meant to work, but people just stayed on there, and the amount of people that was on the, that's what I was getting to. The amount of people that was on the numbers, you was never keeping them just on the twos on the thing. So basically, the twos was kept for the people that was in for the naughty crimes, yeah. And the other Spurs were just here, there, everywhere. People just dotted around the numbers, but debt, like people that got in debt, people that got in debt and was never ever going to pay, ever. And yeah, I've people said, well, how you? Surely you got, how'd you put up with that? You got to do this. It's like, listen, they're deadheads, mate. It's just you just know never to tick them. Yeah, and it's I was only one step above these deadheads. I was always in debt, but I just always managed to just keep my head above the water, just about through the skin of my teeth. Like always, like contemplating the worst, but just about skimming it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, everywhere, dotted around, and it was the perks. It was a decent it was a decent wing to be on. Got away with murder on that wing. Not literally. I'm just to say metaphorically. Uh, yeah, I had it cushy, so you sort of like, yeah, you just know they're untrustworthy. And sometimes, you listen, doesn't matter what your views are, man. Like when you're in jail, yeah, someone could like, someone's on the wing, normal wing, Chelmsford, B or C wing or something, and they go out on a visit for someone else who's got a parcel out there but doesn't want to go out on the visit and collect it themselves. So they say to matey, go out there for me, I'll give you something out of it. Mate goes, alright. Some people will go out on the visit, get the thing, and just get up and go to the screw, take me to the block, go, I'm not going back on the wing. Well, what's the screw going to do? If you refuse to go back on the wing, you're going to go to the block anyway, ain't you? So you might as well just walk you there. Go to the block. And where do they go after that? Induction ring on the numbers, where we all are. So you can keep your views to yourself. Like when you're on the wing and someone turns up with an ounce of rice and an ounce of weed, you go, oh, you're untrustworthy, but hello. Do you want a cup of tea? Oi. It is. Come on, all be serious with yourself and be truthful. It's exactly what you used to do. It's exactly what everyone does. It's exactly what everyone did it. I'm not. If it's all right, everyone would be sitting going, no, I'd never do that. Everyone did it. Literally, everyone did it. Those geezers never got hassled. Um, the ones that actually had beef did. Those ones did. if they had beef on the wing, and the people that had beef with had friends on the wing, they would, they couldn't get away. They didn't get away with it. Um, what else to be said about people on protection? People on protection, eh? They get all the best jobs. That's what an officer said to me. That's what an officer said to me. Um, High down prison in Sutton, I think that is. I was there. I had a wing job. Uh, I think my one. I think my one job was to clean the shower, and then I worked. Well, I say my one job. My two jobs was to clean the shower. I didn't have to clean the wing, just the shower, and then I worked next door to the servery, handing out the toilet rolls, whatever that job was, handing out the razors and the toilet rolls. Um, but I left the wing with a screw one day. I had to go to the laundry for whatever, and that's where the people on the numbers worked. They usually keep them in one place to work for like obvious safety reasons, I suppose. And on the way there, I said, we were just chatting. I said like, and it's a cushy. It was a cushy number, that job. Yeah, it's a cushy number. You get to wash your own clothes. You get to bring your own kit, wash it, which is a big deal. Little things like that in when you're banged up are a big deal. So that get to get to wash your clothes. You get to use the detergent that's there. It's all little things, isn't it? So why they got a cushy job? And he was right said. He was right said because they're brown nosers. They do as they're told because they don't want to be sent onto the main wing. Uh, yeah, they get all the best jobs because they work the hardest. You say if you work the hardest, you're going to get the best jobs, no matter what you've done. I suppose when you're in prison, if you work the hardest, you're going to get the best job. Um, yeah, that's about it. That's about it for people on the numbers. If you enjoyed that, hit subscribe and we'll chat again. Adios.